This presentation is being brought to you by Acuity Brands, who has launched their summer stock promotion starting today and will last until July 30th. Earn up to 6% rebate for your branch by selling qualified Acuity products. See your Mar Vista salesperson for more details. Good Monday morning and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining Mar Vista Presents Acuity Brands Visual Installer, featuring a live demonstration by Yvonne Garcia. I'm joined today by Francesca Dominguez and Jason Rodriguez, who will be assisting with content and communication throughout the session. Please note, all participant microphones have been muted. However, the chat feature is available and encouraged. Feel free to submit your questions and comments at any time. Today's session will introduce the Visual Installer app, Acuity Brands' latest field solution designed specifically for contractors working with Inlight and Inlight Air systems. This app simplifies installation, coordination, streamlines detail capture, and enhances the creation of high-quality as-builts for the end user. In just a moment, Yvonne will walk you through the app's features and capabilities in a live demonstration. And stay sharp. At the end of the session, we'll ask our $20 question. The first correct response in the chat will win a $20 Amazon gift card. So let's get started. Good morning, Yvonne.
JR, good morning, guys. Thank you for having me today. The last time I was on here, I talked a little bit about specifically our Nlight applications. And so one of them I touched on was Visual Installer, as JR mentioned. It's going to be a great field solution. So as we go through the presentation, think of those small, mid-size, even of the larger contractors that you work with, that this would probably be a good fit. And of course, if you guys have further questions, we are always here, Mar Vista and Acuity Brands, to help have further one-on-one conversations with those customers. So without further ado, why use Visual Installer? Well, a lot of you may know this is the old and current process for a lot of our customers. So one of the first goals of Visual Installer is how to address and capture different device IDs. When we ship our Nlight products, we have a barcode, a little barcode for each and serial number for each device. So today, in order to capture for startups, they peel stickers. They add it onto a sticker sheet. A lot of the times, you don't necessarily know where the devices are located due to that sticker placement often being incorrect by an installer. And also, as you go through the process, the installer goes through the process, they often claim to be done with the installation, but there's really no fact checking of how far along they really are within the process of installation. And that can cause some pain points for you, perhaps as the project manager, communicating between both that contractor and, Mar Vista, a lot of the times the agencies that help create that startup date. And so when you're being told something's almost done and you want a solid, 100% it's going to be done by this date, when startup is happening, that probably isn't half the case where they're maybe half done, for so to speak. So think of this as a digitizing the process, where when you have the app, anyone who has access to that current job, including agency user, distributor, contractor, they're able to then see live time installation process of this. And you'll see as we're going to go through a live demo of this in just a minute. And then finally, a lot of the times, once those records are created and the startup is done, well, the records are created and good for the startup only and really have no value thereafter. Those electrical sets then get rolled up and often placed in closets where you get cobwebs then that are created on them. So think of this now, 5, 10 years, 15 years down the line, where we have these records stored somewhere. Somebody wants to renew a project or update, add on, etc. Now you have those plans to be able to look at and see, okay, this is what we did last time. How could we add on to this, etc., or update? So really nice for, again, a future build of this. And this is a little bit of what we heard from our electrical contractors. They really don't like stickers. It's difficult to do. A lot of the times the plans that you're working with is a huge set of paper. Think of dragging that through the job site. And so with this now, we're just going to have a simple app on a phone. And again, we'll go through the demo so you guys can get a feel for what that looks like, what the application looks like. And then, as I mentioned, visibility into the project status is going to be a big key takeaway for this. A lot of the times, like I mentioned, contractors and installers are saying, we're wrapping up, everything's good to go. But in reality, that's far from the case. And that's why you have a big mess in the background where the PM is pretty pissed because the agency is saying, hey, well, we have startup next week or what have you. So in a nutshell, Visual Installer is a mobile application available for both iOS and Android users today. So a few of the key features are mentioned here, which I won't go through, but the mobile app lets users download the floor plans, risers, and other details to their phone. So straight to their phone and or tablet, if tablet's something that customers work off of. Electrical contractors then, because they have that, have a way to view your design information direct from that phone. So this, as I mentioned, gets rid of that messy process of peeling stickers, and the app's main purpose is to capture those device IDs. So project managers, foremen really care about the install project status, and you'll see there's a real lifetime progress status bar that allows you to check that status as the installation goes on. So I will mention before we go into the live demo, Visual Installer accounts are the same as Clarity Plus. For those of you that know what Clarity Plus is, I did a little bit of an overview last time I was on with Marvista, on a Marvista Presents, and we talked a little bit about Clarity Plus. But if there is a user that has Clarity Plus, that's the same user database, so they'll just enter their same information. But again, if you guys have any further questions from customers trying to get on or log on, you can always reach out to Marvista Sales and we'll point you in the right direction. So not only do we have our mobile app, the full suite of Visual Installer is going to be a 3 parts that we built as an overall solution. So the first is going to be visual controls, which is mainly something that our agency users create our designs on. So you're really not going to see this. This is more of a behind the scenes, but I like to show it so that you guys get a full view of what that looks like. So once visual controls is created, that's your design. It goes off to revisions, then it gets uploaded onto our cloud, all working the same thing. When it gets uploaded, it goes over to Visual Installer, and we built that cloud as an endpoint for information to flow in organized ways. So think of the cloud serving as a portal. I will mention the mobile app is free. The cloud will be an extended charge to it, but if you're using Visual Installer as is, there's going to be no cost to that. So if there is cloud connection, if you guys are using the Visual Installer or your end user is using it, you will have the information syncing between phones. So if there's multiple users and one starts on one job site end and the other is on the other side, and they want to meet in the middle, everything is going to work as they go on, syncing every 30 seconds. Let's say you're at a job site and we know we've come across this where we don't have great internet there. Once you go back onto an area that has internet, then all the work you've done will automatically be stored. So basically, until you have internet, that information is stored locally. Once you're able to get that up and running, then it goes ahead and updates all of your data. So with that, let me stop sharing this screen. We'll go ahead and change views here so I could show you guys what the live demo looks like. So 1 second. So what you guys are going to see here is I went ahead and started a broadcast. So what I'm holding up right now is my cell phone, and I already have Visual Installer set up. So what we're going to go through is going to go through the Visual Installer demo, just an overview of what Visual Installer looks like. So I've got it downloaded here, and of course I'm already logged in. And for the purpose of this demo and to save some time, I've already downloaded, which means scanned a QR code for my submittals that Marvista has given me, so that we could look through this as an overview. So first things first, you see a hamburger menu off to the right hand, or I'm sorry, left. Right now I'm confusing my right and my left often. So on my left, you see a hamburger menu where you'll see all of your scanned and stored projects that are going to be off onto the left-hand side here. So in order to use the menu, or in order to access those projects or those downloaded projects, of course, you have to have scanned them or be an already added user. Perhaps Mar Vista already added you, but most of the times you're going to be scanning them. And in order to do that, you are going to use the import a new project. When you do that, your camera comes on and then, hi guys, there you are. You are able to see what that QR code looks like with the camera specifically. There's a help and support button that are, because this visual installer app is still relatively new, and we continue to support a lot of the troubleshooting items. You guys then can put in any comments, concerns, and of course, send any requests over to Mar Vista, and Acuity will be there to help escalate if needed. But there is a team that goes through every single one to answer and make sure that there aren't any bugs. You're able to view a log. You can also change the language from English currently to Spanish and French if there are those users out there that need to change the app for a different language. So let's get back into my project. I've already scanned my project. The first thing you'll notice is up at the top, there's a search bar. I don't know if you guys could see my cursor here, but it's right here. Currently, this job has 722 devices that are going to be scanned for install. So you can see I've scanned 0 of them at this time. The project is 0% complete. And so that's the progress bar I'm talking about. That indicates the status of the project that everybody could log in who has access to this job and see how far along we are with the install status. And that's the game changer for our PMs out there, being that middle person between, you know, that installer and your agency for startup scheduling. On the right hand side, and you guys may not see this clearly, but obviously everything outlined is a room. So this is our design. In order to drag or in order to zoom in, because maybe obviously you guys don't have superpower reading view, you can slide and use a slider down on the right hand side and be able to zoom in as much as you'd like or zoom out with the one hand. We also have the abilities to do it with 2 fingers, for example, a thumb and an index finger, if you guys need to do that as well. It works both ways, but because we realize a lot of this time people are using this with one hand, we figured the slider on the right hand side is very nice to have. Your tools at the very bottom, I'm clicking on the tool button here, will bring up project tools. And so that at the bottom right hand screen is to use the tools, you just access map layers, installation notes, and tooltips. And so we'll go through each one of those in just a second. I will mention, as you can use 2 fingers to zoom in and out of the app itself, you can drag to navigate the app. You can go back over to your, let's zoom into a room, scan into a certain device, which I'm just going to do this RPod here. And so the devices can be any of the following statuses. So here you'll see assigned because there is nothing assigned yet. But if there were, you'd also have unassigned. You can also flag, skip, added, or add, and installed. So those are the different statuses that your devices can be. And then the buttons at the bottom can be used to quickly perform those device actions when a device is selected. So if I have a device selected, which I do here, then you'll see different actions and functions down at the bottom. Your arrow is here to expand and view the full device details. So if you have any notes pertaining to that specific device, let's say something's damaged and you want to show how badly it's damaged, etc., then you're able to view your notes about a room or a specific device. And so we'll go through on how to add a note in just a minute, but your camera here at the bottom right is right there. And this is also to use to add any photos. So something is damaged, now you're able to add those real-time photos on the app and the note itself. The plus button here is for text. So anything you want to know, perhaps obviously you can't take a picture of a missing device, but something didn't ship to you guys, you can just add it here as well. I will say this does not go through or take over the current freight claim process. Still reach out to Mar Vista if there's something shorted, damaged, or it didn't arrive. Or that's shorted, but if it didn't arrive or damaged, etc., still reach out to them, but the installer can still make their notes so that everything can properly be documented on the app itself. I'll cancel out of that. I will say in order to add a note, you do have to add characters in order to save. Right now it's grayed out, but if you add something, some sort of text, then you're able to save it there. So I'm going to cancel out of that. Let's dive into tools next. I'm going to bring down my arrow there. So your project notes, selecting your project notes here, you'll have all the notes associated, as I mentioned, to the project. Your view options is going to be different layers for your room status identifiers. So you're going to have colors purple, orange, green, and each one of them means either it's a project that's not started, which I mentioned that I've scanned 0 devices on here. So that's why every single one of my rooms is purple, because it's not started. If I would have started some of it, then it would have been in progress. And so that would have been already marked orange, the rooms that are orange. And then finally, if rooms are in green, then those are the rooms that are currently completed and we're good to go. Note, you can also down here add and choose the device details that you would like to see. So between your switch legs, product tags, and location IDs. Let's go back to your tools and hit device exceptions. You will see all the devices that are added, skipped, or flagged for review here. I did mention you can add devices if there's something shorted and you've got, or you can add, contractors can add more devices. I won't go too into detail with that just because it rarely happens, but where we have to add more. But again, stick to your designs as you see there. You're able to function through the entire app itself. Let me skip out of there. To be able to see all of these different settings that you've got. And then finally, of course, you can click on a room and also hit riser, and you'll have all of that information if it was already scanned and installed, ready to go. So that's really neat to have at your fingertips as an installer as well. So as I mentioned, you can have 2 people working on this. Let's say one person starts on the left side of the room, the other on the right, and they want to meet somewhere in the middle. That information is going to be scanned and installed onto our visual installer. So the person who made the last change is going to be the one who gets that recorded. Let's say they meet in the middle and they scan the same room. The last person that scanned the room is going to have the changes uploaded and saved onto visual installer. So that's an overview of what Visual Installer is. Again, it's just a mobile application that digitizes our current process of our sticker sheets. I'll stop there. If there are any questions, I'll give the room back to JR. That could then close us out.
Thank you, Ivana. I appreciate that. Yeah, please take this moment to send through any questions that you have. I think one came up. Go on ahead and read it.
Can Visual Installer be used by contractors that design their own control layouts and purchase their devices through our stock?
I would highly suggest to go through Mar Vista, as those designs are solid proof. They're the ones that are creating the rooms, give the submittals back, have that QR code to scan to be able to use this.
Yeah, there is and to be clear, there's a step that we go through in order to prep those plans for your contractor. But thank you for the question, and it actually leads me to offering that if you have contractors that are interested, please contact us to set up sales training for your electrical contractors. We will be absolutely happy to go out to show your contractor how to do it. If it's a design build contractor, we'll show them what steps they can go through, and then what step we come in and where we can make this thing flow for your design build contractors. But to answer the second question, yes, if you guys want to run that product through your stock, we would absolutely support that with design and training. So I hope that answers your question, and give me a call if we need to go further into that.